Hi everybody, I'm Christy, and today I am here to be more or less your support system translator, if you will. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that I am here to help you, help your support system be able to help you. It's very hard from both standpoints to grasp this, idea of narcissistic abuse and what it is that the survivor is experiencing and going through, and why they can't just let go or move on like another normal breakup or ending of a relationship. And that is, it's for several reasons, but the long and short of it is there is nothing normal about a relationship with a narcissist. And when I say narcissist, I'm not talking about your overt narcissist, just your egotistical, vain, high on their horse, thinks their shit doesn't stink type of narcissist. I'm talking about the covert and the malignant narcissist. They are not the same person that the survivor experiences behind closed doors that basically the rest of the world sees. And they come across with this facade of being so helpful and kind, and they're the funny person, and and tell a good story, and if you need something, they're there for you. And most people see this person as this great citizen and this wonderful person of society, yet behind closed doors, they are hateful and cruel, and they are literally out to destroy their targeted source of supply in order to feel good about themselves, because they are, in fact, so utterly ugly inside, and they have such low self-esteem that their only way to feel good is by inflicting pain on others. And it's a learned behavior. These are the people that most of the survivors are dealing with. Like I said, it's something that is almost unbelievable, and it's hard for support systems to grasp this idea, because most people can't fathom the fact that somebody would intentionally be so mean and so hurtful and purposely try to set forth to destroy another human for no reason other than envious of them, and they feel bad about themselves, so they take you down in order to pick themselves back up. But it's short-lived. They get bored with it, and they move on from one to the next to the next to the next. They start out the relationship with coming across with this facade, with this wonderful person, and it's like a dream come true until you wake up in a nightmare. And that is what the love bombing is so dangerous for, because it lures these survivors in. It's something that they've been searching for their entire lives, and they finally stumble upon it, and then trying to chase that buzz, trying to get back that person, this dream come true that was in all intents and purposes an illusion, but they're chasing that dream, beating them along, and it never existed, and it wasn't real. And it's so hard, I think, for the survivors to let go of after everything that they've endured. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to accept it, because the shame in it, the blame, that you feel from it, that how did this happen, it's horrid. It's horrid. And you are literally left feeling like you're utterly alone, and you're the empty shell of who you once were. So for the support system, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. And no, I'm not going to jump through the phone or whatever device you're using to watch this and rob you or smack you in the forehead and say you hit a tree or anything. But simply for the fact that, you're going to end up staring at this butterfly or something behind me, or my eye twitching or whatever while I'm telling the story. So to hopefully keep you focused and to help get a better perspective on where the survivor is coming from and, like what it's really like, and maybe get the best painting of my picture that you possibly can. So if you're willing to cooperate and shut your eyes while I tell the story, I'm trying not to be so incredibly boring that I put you into a deep sleep, but well, I guess there could be worse things in life than taking a nap for a few minutes. So for the survivor's sake, just do as I ask, shut your eyes, and listen to a story for a few minutes. They deserve this. They truly do. They're worth the 10 minutes. All right, guys? So here we go. What I want you to do is I want you to imagine a time when it wasn't like you had a black cloud necessarily over your head, but let's just say like a little gray cloud where things weren't just as good as they could be, and you were feeling like you just needed to do something to like spice up your life, feel good about yourself. Your dating life was kind of like in the toilets, and you had a good job, you're feeling successful, but it wasn't like great. You weren't loving it. You remember when you were younger, you always had this interest, or you were fascinated by people that scaled mountains and were able to survive in this wilderness and make it up this, the face of these Mount Everest mountains and Kilimanjaro or whatever. And it was always just intriguing to you. So you decide you're going to look into learning how to do some mountain climbing. So naturally, the second that this thought even bridges your mind, you're inundated with stories and stuff on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikToks and whatever. And creepiness of that aside, you're intrigued by some of these. And, you start going to some of the, indoor arenas first, and you're learning how to mountain climb, and then really get into it. You find a few instructors here or there that are teaching you some new stuff. And then, one night you're sitting there and, your Facebook pops up some story about this challenge, this survivor challenge, where they're going to supply you with all the equipment that you could possibly need. You're going to be paired up, and there will be 10 pairs of you that will scale the side of this mountain. And the people that make it to the top successfully, don't split up or tap out first, they win $10 million. And you're like, damn, I could buy that boat, I could buy that car, I could buy all that stuff. That would be so awesome. I'm going to do this. So you decide to apply for this thing. You're pretty excited about it, but you're a little hesitant because some of these instructors that you've been with, and they weren't the greatest partners, and you're a little bit worried about your own ability. So your biggest fear is who are you going to be paired up with? Are they going to be somebody that is going to hold your life in their hands as you're scaling this mountain? You figure, you know what? You take the risk. You're going to do it. You're going to do it because, you know what? Why not? You live once. That's it. Been yourself safe for so long. The day arrives, and you all are meeting up at the bottom of this mountain, and they're handing out your supplies, and then they hand you a color card, and you meet up with your partner. They're pretty cool, whatever. Very nice and very polite, and they're asking you about your experience, and they're, obviously a little bit more experienced than you on this, but you know your stuff. You've learned a lot of things, and you're proud of yourself, and you feel very confident. So you're like, all right, this is gonna be a good thing. You start up the mountain, and this person is just it's unbelievable how good they are. It's they're like Spider-Man crawling up these things, and then it's pulling you up by the web. You're just, bam, bam, bam. You guys are scaling this thing. And finally you get to a good spot to stop for the night. And this Spider-Man of a rock climber here decides to not only let you rest and regain some of your energy and get your lungs kind of acclimated with the elevated air pressures and stuff, and they're setting up camp and disappear for a little bit, come back, and they've caught this goose, and they're had the feathers plucked. They've got it ready to throw on the fire that they've already lit, and you're just in awe, oh my God, this person's awesome. I'm so hungry. My body is finally not shaking anymore from climbing this mountain. So you eat your dinner, and then you guys are just sitting there talking or whatever, and you're going on and on and on. They're asking so many questions, and they're just you just feel them intently listening to every word that you're saying. And finally you gaze over, and they're just staring at you in awe with you, and you get this this like warmth over you. Like you just feel so safe. Feel like it's so easy to just like open. Like you could tell them anything. Finally, you drift into a sleep and you wake up and he's got everything like packed up, ready to go. The water bottle's filled from the fresh spring that he found, and he had gone out and picked some berries found, and your breakfast awaits, and you eat and off you go. Climbing, and you're still out there and just, like kind of pulling you along. And finally you get to a point where his experience and I guess his esteem just outweighs you just a tiny little bit. You don't feel any pressure with this person. Like you're like, all right, I'm not going to kill myself today. Like I kicked ass yesterday and I'm going to like take it like a little bit of a step down because I still got to make it to the top of this thing. Good bit ahead of you at this point. So he like starts hollering down like, oh, come on, slowpoke. Come on, lazy bones. Get your butt up at this mountain. What? Come on. Didn't get enough rest last night? You're like, that's not very nice. And then he says it with a little smirk, a little smile. And, you look into those eyes and you just start giggling. You're like, oh my goodness, he's just being funny. He's just being funny, right? Yeah, he's just being funny. So you keep going. And all of a sudden you notice, like, you keep feeling these drips on your head. And you're like, what in the heck is going on? Like, it's not raining. Like, where is this coming from? It's like every, minute or so, you just feel this one little blink right onto the forehead. Just enough where it, drips down, gets into your eye with the sweat, though, that it's, like, it's starting to burn. It had this, like, desire. You need to, like, wipe it away each time that it hurts, but it's, like, scaring the shit out of you because you don't want to remove your hands from the side of this mountain and, like, die. So you're, like, sitting there, like, it's all you can focus on is this goddamn water dripping. Like, where can it come from? So you keep moving. You realize he's already made it to, like, the platform. And, you're just like, all right, whatever. I've only got, a couple more 100 feet and I'm there. I can rest. So you holler up to him and you're like, hey, I'm coming. Is it raining up there? Like, what's going on? You're getting this like water in my eyes. I don't know what's happening. He responds. He's like, oh, this one? You mean this? And the next thing you know, it's like, yeah, what is that? And he's like, thought you could use a little inspiration, keep you focused, get your little lazy bones up here a little bit faster. And, you're like, hey, bud, come on, man. Like, that's not cool. Like, it's really starting to, like, make me feel like I'm going to fall off of this mountain. And he's like, oh, come on. I wouldn't let you fall off the mountain. Come on, stop. It's making you think about it, right? It's keeping your hands, and you're like, well, yeah, I guess maybe like I am getting a little bit more coordinated from it because it's like I've kind of like timed these things out now, and it's like, I'll properly put my foot in the right spot just so I'm able to like quickly wipe it away with my hand before I need to grab to the next rock. So you're like, I guess maybe, I don't know, like kind of sucks, but I guess he's thinking about me, keep me focused. So you're like, all right, fine. Could you please like knock it off for like the last few feet? I'm almost up there and I am so tired today. Like, can you please get the tent up? And I'm not even hungry. Don't even worry about getting food. Just like, I just want to like get up there and rest. He's like, yeah, okay. So you get up, you get to that peak and he, like reaches down, pulls you back up and you're like, oh God, okay. Whew. Take off your backpack and you just like lay on the ground, like just sprawled out like you were like making a snow angel when you were a kid. And once you get a breath and get a little more energy, you like stare around and, dude, I thought you were gonna like put up the tent. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't know where the tent is. What did you do with it? Well, what do you mean? What did I do about that? Like, you had the tent. You had all the fire stuff. He's like, no, right before we left, I told you to get it. You didn't get it. You don't have the tent. What do you mean you don't have the tent? Like, what the hell are we going to do for the next 10 days on this thing? And you're like, oh my God, I totally thought you had the tent. And he's like, no, that was your job. I set the tent up and I made you the food and I lit the fire. Like, all you had to do was remember the tent. You feel this like pit of despair. Like, how could I have done this? Like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? Like, it's going to be getting colder and colder and colder and we have no way of lighting a fire. And you feel so like just sick to your stomach. You don't know what to do. And like your thoughts just keep racing around this like idea of like, how did you forget this? So you just, like, all right, whatever, it is what it is. I'm gonna like, I gotta keep going. I'm not giving up on this. Like, this is what I wanted. This guy's awesome. I know with his help, we can do this. We can get this. We can get to the top. I can scratch this off my bucket list and win all this stuff. Help me succeed in the future. Not to mention, you're kind of already like smitten with this person, and who knows, like shit, he could be like the next best thing that ever happened to me. So you try to like push that aside, and I'm a little pissed off at you, but not too bad. So you know, you're talking, you're still sharing your stories, and you fall asleep, and then you wake up the next morning and he's not there. And shaken, so cold from the night, and it snowed, and there was no tent, and you're like, God, I must be really dreaming about that fire, because like I swear I smell smoke. Maybe there's somebody else close by or something, but I haven't seen any of the other participants in this. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like coming downwind or something. So, like you don't really second guess it. And you're looking around, you don't see him anywhere. You don't see your partner anywhere. Out of the like corner of your eye, like he's coming out from behind this like big brush of trees, and it's like you swear you saw smoke back there, and he's, walking up to you and giving you this smirk or whatever, and this smile, and, top of the morning. So it's like your brain just automatically like forgets the smoke and goes all eyes back on him. And he comes over and tells you how beautiful you're looking this morning. And are you ready to try and do a little bit better than you did yesterday? So you're like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to show you. I can do this. So you're ready to just like put forth 110% today, hoping you guys can like to get 2 days worth of height, because you're just feeling like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove to you that I can do this. So you start out, and again, like you're keeping up with him and keeping up with him. You're going, and when all of a sudden she's like, whew, Spider-Man just comes out of nowhere again, just scales up that mountain, and you're doing your best. You're doing your best. Before you know it, you keep getting those little drops again on your forehead, but instead of like every 30 seconds, they're a little bit more frequent, and they tend to be, hitting you like smack in the eyeball each time that it's happening now, and you're just like, like, God, why? Keeps insisting that this is going to keep you focused. This is going to keep you focused. This is good for you. Like you make it. You beat me today. You get to this top of this platform today, and tomorrow I won't do the drops anymore. So you're like, okay. So you're bam, 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 climbing this thing. Get that last hand up and you place it onto the rock, and you're like, yes, she's like a foot behind me. Like, I got this. And you're like so proud of yourself, and you like can't wait. And then like all of a sudden you feel something like grab, and almost like ripped from that last rock, and you see your partner's hand like on your ankle, and you're like, let go. He's like, oh my God, help me. So you're like doing everything you can. You like put your arm down, you pull him up, and he like jumps up onto the platform, and he's like, ha, beat you. And you're like, what the F, man? Like, you could have totally just pulled me off of this mountain, and I would have plummeted to my death, let alone you could have been right there. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why? Don't ever do that again. He's just like staring at you on like this blank face, and he's like, oh my God, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. Like, why are you over exaggerating everything? I mean, my God, you're just so sensitive. Like, whatever, man, let it go. Your heart is just racing. It's pumping. Like, all you can see is like your life flashing before your eyes. And you're just like, why would anybody just do like, that's not even funny, man. Like, you almost just killed me. He just, goes off, sits over by this big old fluff of pine trees by himself. And you can just feel him kind of like staring at you. And it's giving you this like uncomfortable feeling, but yet at the same time you're like drawn to like go over and like apologize for your exaggerated reaction earlier. And maybe you were just tired, and maybe you didn't need to respond so drastically. So you go over and you're like, look, guys, like, you scared me, and I really don't like it, but I think I was wrong. I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't have acted that way. You just kind of like, still like kind of staring through you at this point. And he's like, yeah, you shouldn't have. You totally overacting, but whatever. Okay, that's fine. let's go to bed. So just brain's just like going and going and going. You don't even know what to think at this point, but you're just like, okay, you know what? Like, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. We're so close. I'm just going to get up, try to get a good night's sleep, and go about this again tomorrow. So you wake up in the morning and got like all his stuff like ready to send the ropes up to like start climbing. You're like, dude, like, what are you doing, man? Like, I'm not even like, I don't even have like my stuff packed up. And he's like, what do you have anyway? You've already lost the tent. You've lost the flint. You've lost the pot. Like, what do you have to pack up? All you got to do is put your goddamn shoes on and get your pack. And we're off to go. And you're like, I need to get like my water and like I have to have something in my system. And he's like, well, you know what? You probably should have thought about that shit before you went to bed. But no, all you wanted to do was sit there and pout over the bullshit that you pulled last night and you know, cry yourself to sleep. If you weren't such a immature and irresponsible little baby, your ass would be ready already. So you know what? Take your sorry ass can come at your own time. I'm effing leaving. Like, see you when I see you. Hope you make it to the top. And you're like, oh my God, what? Like, bewildered. But also at the same time, you're like frantic. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to be left behind. And like, if I tap out or we don't get there together, like nobody wins. And I didn't just do this like grueling thing to like tap out on the like last day or so. Like, we're almost there. You're like, hurry up. Like, you don't even get your water. Screw eating. You know, you get one shoe half tied and you're like chasing Spider-Man up this mountain again. And whole time, drip, drip, drip. Drip, wiping your eyes, and you're wiping your eyes, and you're just getting like, oh, like just, it's like burning so bad. You're so tired of the fucking dripping, but it just keeps on happening. And, you know, you keep telling yourself, like in the back of your brain, like, okay, you know, it's good for you. He's doing this to keep you focused, and don't complain today. Like, maybe he'll be like in a so much better mood. We can like finally relax our last night and have a good night on this mountain before we reach the top and we get everything that we come out to get in this trip. So you're just ignoring all these drips and like snarled little remarks and pecks and pokes and prods along the way. But you know, just keep your mouth shut. You just keep your mouth shut. I'm not going to let him rattle me. Just keep going. Yet, as much as you're telling yourself this in your head, your brain is starting to like slow you down and you're really doubting whether you're going to make it to the top today. Like, you have to do it. You just have to. And somehow, you don't even know, the last 300 feet of the climb are like a blur to you. And you just finally get to the top of that perch. Ugh! Like, fall flat on your face. Don't give a crap about the tent or the fire or the fact that you haven't drank or ate all day. Like, all you want to do is just rest. And as you lay your head across the snowy, rocky, almost top of freaking Mount Everest, you are so close to drifting off into a sleep because you can't breathe at this point. And your body is so tired, but yet your brain, it won't stop. And you're just like, all you want to do is figure out how you could have been so irresponsible and how you could have been so stupid to have left the tent that first day and then disrespect this man that had helped you so much. And it's like, you just can't stop. It's like all these thoughts are just inundating your brain and you just lay there all night just staring up at the sky. And before you know it, the sun's coming up and your eyes are burning even more than they did when the drips of sweat and water were getting intertwined as you're climbing the rocks. This is it. Like, it's the last day and you have no choice. And the whole time, like, you were just staring at the stars. You know, he was snoring in the distance away because he just left you there face down in the dirt and like made himself his own little thing under the trees again. And you swore you could have heard him snoring just like moments before, but you turn around and he's gone. And then out of nowhere, you see this other participant coming across the hill and like hiding behind trees as they're approaching, watching and like, what is going on? Where did this person come from? Certain that you see somebody else and you yell out to your partner, you're like, hey, dude, what's going on? Who is this person? Somebody else is over there. Are they okay? Did their partner get hurt? And like, what are you talking about? There's nobody there. Like, you're fucking crazy, man. Oh my God, like, you should have slept last night, you dumbass. There isn't anybody here. And you're like, I swear that I just saw somebody coming across the hill. They were right behind that tree. I swear they were there. Insisting that you were just like delusional and sleep deprived and you need to just get a hold of yourself. Like, okay, you know what? maybe he's right. I'm going to go find somewhere to go to the bathroom. I'm going to gather my water. Like, this is it. We're going to win. We're going to win. Hopefully that other person, if there was even another person, because you're really still not even sure in your head at this point. But if there was another person, then their partner tapped out and they're on their way back down the mountain. Oh my God, we're so going to do this. So you're, trying to scrounge up any little last bit of energy and like excitement that you can over this, and go to the bathroom and you gather up all your stuff, and you've got the big old bottle of water, and you go back out to where he was, and he's gone. He's gone. Like, none of his stuff is there. And you're yelling, like, what is going on? What is going on? How could he leave me at this point? Like, we're almost there. Like, these were my dreams to get to the top. I have been busting my butt to try to prove to him that I could do this. Like, what the F? Drop to your knees. I just can't take anymore. You're so effing tired. And then as you're laying there on the ground, like head between your knees, out of nowhere, you hear, cut! And the lights like flip on, and you like sit up and you open your eyes, and you're on like a movie set. What? How the hell did I get here? And the whole thing, the whole ordeal was an illusion. It was a game. It was not real. You're so befuddled because you're like, I felt the snow on my face and the drips of water in my eyes as the sweat's rolling down, and I'm climbing these mountains. I felt the dirt under my nails, and I ate the goose, and I looked at the stars. Like, what is going on? How is this even possible? You hear some people like scrummaging around, and then here comes your partner walking over to you. Oh my God, dude, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, just kind of like looks at you like, you're crazy, man. Like, what do you mean, what's going on? And you're just like, thought we were on like Mount Everest, and we're not. Like, this is like a movie set. Like, how did this even happen? And he's just like, you're fucking batshit crazy, lady. And like, just walks away and leaves you there. And there's no answers. There's nothing. And as you turn around, just take one last glimpse, he like looks back at you and kind of does a wink and like I'll call you, goes away. What? Just totally and utterly confused and so unsure of yourself and of your own truth and reality and perception. How could you ever believed that you were on that mountain? Like, what the hell? You want to go run and call your friends, but you're like, oh my God, like, I'm freaking, they're going to think I'm fucking crazy. What the hell? Like, what the hell? So grab your stuff and you go home. These thoughts just continue to consume you. Like, you just lay there. You just lay there in your whirlwind of thoughts, just over and over and over and over about this guy that like the Spider-Man of Mount Everest and wonderful, awesome person. And then the next thing you know, it was all just make-believe. Okay, so I'm guessing that you kind of get the gist of my little story. In addition to that, not only do these people come across as something out of this world, extraordinary, dream come true, like hella good, they take it away in such a brutal and abrupt manner that it leaves you feeling just so lost and so confused, and the rug of the world was like ripped out from under your feet. This like sheet's been thrown over your eyes, and it's like so confusing to the survivor as well as unbelievable almost to anybody that hasn't experienced somebody like this. That it's where like are button heads with that frustration game. And to the survivors, I want you to put yourself back up there on that mountain, and first platform you get with this partner. And if you would have asked yourself that day, if you thought your partner was gonna like discard and abandon you 100 feet from the top of Mount Everest, you never would have believed it. You would have thought, like, there's no way this person could have done that. Like, this person's awesome. He's the superstar, the Spider-Man of Mount Everest. Like, he is not, no way in hell he's going to leave me. They knew your partner and didn't get to see the person that you met behind closed doors, which some support systems do. And it's almost even harder for them to grasp the unable to like get over it and move on, because they're like, dude, he was a dick. Like, or she was an asshole, and not trying to say he or she, like 100% narcissists are of every race, every gender, every sex. I am not discriminating or holding them, as just men being narcissists, because it's totally not true. But anyway, like it's, as hard as it is for somebody who's like knows this facade and knows this like portrayal of a good person, it is even more difficult for your support system to grasp why you are holding on to, like the dickhead, in case you've been with them long enough that their mask has dropped in front of your support system as well. Like they really don't get it, because they're like, oh my God, like they start thinking like there's something wrong with you for like wanting to stay and not understanding hold a trauma bond has over another. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the trauma bond, it's otherwise known as like Stockholm syndrome, and it's the same thing that occurs for individuals in a hostage situation, where the abuser or whatever is actually kind of becomes like the hostage is literally like their sole source of survival. It's like where they get their food from, and they know that if they do the right thing, then they're going to get rewarded by being given food or a chance to go to the bathroom or say. It's like by the end of it, they actually like start protecting the person that held them hostage or whatever to begin with, because they've become so dependent upon them for their basic survival needs while being held hostage that they don't like turn on them, but they do the exact opposite, and they defend them and they protect them. It's kind of crazy, but it's just, like they're thinking like if they don't, then they're not going to get the food, and then they might not make it till the next day. And it's kind of how the telling of the narcissist typically to the survivor that they won't survive without them, that they'll never do better than anybody else. And your brain starts to believe this, and it's what aids in the depletion of the survivor's self-esteem, because of all these daily insults and daily demoralizations that they're getting. And willpower is only like 5% of like what your brain can do, and 95% of it is the environment that you're in. So if you go into it even being the most upbeat, optimistic, positive person in the world, if you have somebody beating you down daily, that's going to win. It's going to win every time. Environment is going to trump your will every time. You can bring about your conscious beliefs, but if you have somebody that's constantly in the back of your, back of your brain telling you like how bad you are and how you're never good enough and how, you're not doing this, it starts to like deteriorate how you think about yourself. So it's why it's like, it's really hard for these people to feel like they can move on, because they feel so insecure about themselves, and they've lost all their faith in trusting themselves anymore, because like the narcissist does, they act like they are doing something to benefit you, when in all reality there was never any benefit in it for you whatsoever. But they've tricked your brain into believing that, and you're not sure what's real or what's false. Like, are they really trying to help me? Are they really trying to hurt me? Am I just imagining this? Like, you wake up on Mount Everest and it's like a movie set. Like, what the hell? Like, you're literally woohoo! Confusion at its finest. So, moral of all this bullshit and blabbermouth, the fun I'm talking about, extremely frustrating survivors for the other person, because they literally can't fathom, can't comprehend that somebody else could do this to somebody. It's almost impossible for the human to believe it. So unless you have endured it, they're not getting it, because it's too hard to grasp for many. So it's one of the reasons that they're not trying to give you the cold shoulder, but it's how they may be coming across, because it's not real to them. So they're comparing it to another normal relationship. Okay, like get ourselves up off the floor, wipe our tears, move on. Such is life. It sucks, but you know what? There's other fish in the sea. And sadly, to the survivor, from the survivor standpoint, there might be other fish in the sea, but that fish is like the only fish that's going to keep me alive, and I'm going to get eaten by the sharks if I don't have him by my side. Remember that, and for your support system, please just try to keep in mind that these people have been sucked dry, and they have been verbally and emotionally and psychologically manipulated and messed with and brain fucked every which way till Sunday for God only knows how long by these people. And it literally physiologically changes the way in which their brains function. So the worst thing you can say to them is move on, get over it, or invalidate their feelings. And yes, they don't need to be babied and coddled, because that doesn't help either. Sorry, survivors, it doesn't. But you need to validate where they're coming from. You need to listen to their stories. And most importantly, you need to believe them. You need to believe them. And that is huge. Just them feeling believed and feeling understood can move mountains for survivors. And survivors, you need to believe in yourselves. You need to believe that you did not deserve this. You need to believe that it is not your fault. You need to believe that you can survive without the narcissist, because you can. You can, you can, you can. So all the negative stuff that they were feeding in the back of your head, and that environmental 95% factor, needs to be flip-flopped, and now it needs to be affirmations and compliments and positive thoughts, and that can change your life in ways like you won't even imagine, okay? Because it's the negative that brought you down, and it's the positive that will bring you up. And by having your support system, in cahoots, and realizing that it's frustrating as it is for them to see you not doing well, it's equally as frustrating for you to have them not understand and validate you. There's your support system for a reason, because you guys have a bond, not a trauma bond. You have a bond that people seek out for in this world. And you know what? This is your person, okay? And they need you. And you need to be there for yourself. And the support system, you need to be there for them. And you need to be there for your support system, because they're also now, once they're kind of get a little bit of a grasp, it breaks their heart to see you like this, okay? So you guys need to, stop butting heads and making yourselves, mad at each other, and, feeling like the world's left you to be by yourself. Let them be there for you. You deserve the empathy and the reciprocated caring and love that you didn't get from the narcissist, okay? That wasn't real. That wasn't real. It was the illusion. It was the fake movie set, and you're honing in on that because you don't want to accept the reality of it. But you have to open your eyes, and you have to realize that these people in your circle, they're the ones that love y'all, okay? So don't forget that, guys. They are there for you. They have been there for you well before you even met that narcissist, okay? To hopefully send you off with something that'll maybe stick a little bit better than my impromptu mountain climbing story. I have already prepared, so don't worry. It's not going to be another, long-winded 30-minute story. Something that kind of was the most appropriate thing I could think of, and under the circumstances that being involved with the narcissist is truly like a living nightmare. I put together a little poltergeisty horror movie trailer rendition of a description of a narcissist. There we go. That's what I'm going to call it. It will help you just, further understand what it is that these survivors are going through. So thank you again for your time, your effort, and just survivors, everybody, just remember you deserve so much more. And compliments can change the world. So be kind to each other, people. All right. Enjoy my little clip, and peace out.
Story. What if I told you that there was a monster so scary that he would sneak up on you and sink his big, ugly claws deep inside inside your body and inside your mind. And there was no escaping this monster, because you never saw him coming. What would you think? Would you be frightened? What if I told you that this monster exists? It exists everywhere in the world, in every town, in every city. This monster spares no one. Everyone is equally at risk for this monster to make you its next victim. Does that scare you? This monster, he should scare you. It should scare you more knowing that this monster could be laying right next to you. Right next to you in your bed, but you don't even know it yet. You don't even see it coming. You see, this monster's a narcissist. And this narcissist monster will reel you in, and he'll sink his big ugly claws deep inside your brain, deep inside your mind. And he'll rob you of yourself, of your sanity, and of your safety. So, the next time this monster rears its ugly head, and you know this monster is coming for you, what you need to do is you need to run. You need to run fast as you can. Run as far as you can. And don't ever go back. Don't ever look back. And don't ever respond if the monster tries to tell you otherwise, because he will. He'll tell you you're safe and you need him. And you might think that you will because those claws are so stuck in your brains. But I assure you, you just keep on running. You run and you run and you run, because this monster's out to destroy you.